Hello, everyone. This is Missy and Fabio, Real Talk, Real People. And today we have real deal, real situation.
Today we got the situation, but we're working on it. I want to thank all of you all who are coming back time after time. And those of you that are new, please subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll get notification of anything else that we put out there. And today our guest is Stefan. And Honey is down here warming up the floor, or she's so comfortable. She's got her blanket on and everything. So this kid has one heck of a story, and new to my world. Met Fabio today. But I'm excited, and Fabio's going to be totally blown away by his story, and we're just so honored to have you here today.
Well, thanks.
And this is your first podcast.
I know, it is my first podcast, and thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it because, like I said, it's the first time I've been asked to tell my story.
So you're kind of Italian, Stefan. That's a name, Italian thing, isn't it?
Romanian.
Romania? Oh, it's a Romanian?
Yeah, it's Stefan, but in America we say Steven or Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan. It's kind of sounds
Which
good.
I prefer all three, which is fine.
Well, you just got me surprised because I didn't know that you were like at your age. I thought you were like a 24 or 22 years old, so I got surprised for that too.
Seasoned and young.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll be 5 years away from 40 in March.
Oh, well,
I know.
Old man,
I know, I'm
yeah.
getting older.
But anyway, share with us. We know you have your own business and stuff, but if you want to start now, maybe, and work your way back just a little, however you feel comfortable telling your story.
Yeah, so I can start back, honestly, 2000, I think 2011 or no, 2008 is when I graduated high school. And I actually went to motorcycle school down in Florida. So I had a degree in engineering and mechanics.
Oh, okay.
I used to ride motorcycles. I was the first kid ever in high school to ride a motorcycle to school. When I got 18, I got married for the first time. I moved out of my house, got my own place.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's just starting for the first time.
Yeah, and then
Man, we're gonna talk for an hour here.
Yeah. Well, my podcasts usually go over an hour, but yeah, so I can talk all day.
All right.
But so what happened was I didn't know what I wanted to do in life early, but I was riding motorcycles at a very early age, had a bunch of biker buddies, and I thought that I wanted to work on bikes. And you learn in life what you love and what you want to do for a living are sometimes two different things. Like sometimes you prefer it to just be a hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And with working with motorcycles, you learn that over time, especially environments of like billable hours where you really rely on a shop to be able to turn bikes for you to get the amount of hours, because usually in the motorcycle world, everything is set by the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is like, well, it should take 30 minutes to change the brakes, but in the real world, nuts and bolts just don't come off like they should. And you could easily spend an hour trying to change things. So you only get paid for 30 minutes. So if it took you an hour, well, you only got paid for 30 minutes of that work. You know what I mean? So you
decided your hobby wasn't quite how you were going to earn money.
Well, I decided that I didn't want to work for somebody, and all the jobs I had gotten fired at, from like being a waiter, from pest control, from working on motorcycles to roofing.
But why?
It's just I'm one of those guys where it's like I'm all or nothing. So if I'm either interested in it, you have every bit of me. If I'm not interested in it, I just can't fake things like that. Like I'm just a person that's very like passionate about what I do, and to have that level of like dedication and passion towards something, you need to truly like be engrossed with whatever you're looking at, because if not, it's all about feeling, and emotion, and that's kind of what I put into my work. And I graduated, but at the time I was actually working on a lot of the outlaw. In Florida, the Outlaws is the primary motorcycle 1% club. Each state has their own 1% chapter that dominates like the reign. Mm-hmm. And I actually started hanging around with the Outlaws. So I used to go to their open houses and work on a lot of their bikes.
As a mom, I'm having a little bit of a heart attack.
Well, what's funny is one of the teachers even told me that the Outlaws would never accept me. They would just beat me up and take my motorcycle. And I became friends with a lot of them. And I was at the open house, and he was a Black Piston, which is is a support group. And he came to the clubhouse and I was there and I was like, hello. Like you said they wouldn't like me, but now I'm here and now you're here. You know
And I'm still alive.
Dude, it was weird because when I would walk through the halls, people would chant "dead man walking" because they all assumed that I was going to get like murdered or beat up and stuff. And it's a respect thing.
And where is this? Where was
this? This is Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And it's a respect thing. These are just normal people who are just going about their business. And as long as you're not disrespecting them or getting in their way, you have no problems, you know, and that's the way I kept it. You know, I was what they call a hang around. So I didn't see the nitty gritty anyways. You know, I saw the nice side of everybody cheering beers, playing pool, you know, going on long motorcycle rides. But how I met them was kind of interesting. I was in the Iron Horse Saloon, which is down in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's one of the famous bars. So if you ever been to Bike Week, it's really
Can't
cool.
say I have.
No.
Twice a
Not
year.
that
I don't
wouldn't mind
remember.
putting on some
October
chaps
and
going.
March, but they were there, and I just watched a documentary on them.
Oh wow!
And they were throwing ice cubes at the waitress because they knew the waitress. I guess they were all friends. And I went up to them and I was like, "Listen, I don't mean any disrespect, but I was like, I just want to learn about you guys." I was like, I watched the documentary. And I was like, I just want to see what it's like to be around you guys. And the guy named Cloudy, who I became best friends with at the time, was like, do you have your bike here? And I was like, yes, I do. And he's like, cool, let's go for a ride. So we went for like 100-mile ride, came back to the bar, which is right on the beach. And he sat down. He's like, you seem pretty cool. He's like, come to our clubhouse on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's how I became, you know, a member. I just literally walked up to him and was like, hey, want to learn a little bit about you guys. So when I came back to Virginia, I worked at those shops and I got fired. Well, I was still looking for another job. My last job was pest control. And I almost caused the company $300,000 worth of damage because one of my trucks overflowed with chemical and it was going to go down the sewer. So likely to say after, you know, the 3 hours of cleaning everything up, I no longer had a job, but that's okay.
And the Chesapeake Bay is ever grateful that somebody cleaned your mess up,
you know,
right?
somebody smarter than me was able to identify that there was a problem going on.
God.
But after that, I had started doing video. But the girl I was with, Lindsay, who I was engaged to, she didn't like believe in my dream. She thought it was dumb. She's like, you're not going to make any money. You know, they're not going to work out for you. She's like, you know, she really wanted me to work anywhere, like whether it was like Walmart or Target, just have a job, right? And when we went to Arizona, we had been together for like 3 years, and her parents did not like me from day one. I'm a very free-spirited guy, just happy-go-lucky, and they're very military.
Don't have a job.
Well, they're military by the book, so you know it's like they have expectations. I don't. And what happened was we had taken a trip to Arizona to Fort Huachuca, which for people that don't think in Arizona and like those states don't get snow, they get tons of snow.
Yeah.
And there's these caves that we visited, right, called the Ketchner Mountains. And inside those caves, they have stalagmites and stalactites, and they're the only cave in Arizona to have this. Well, I'm a big believer in like the universe and like God and everything like that. So I was talking, and I'm also a Mason, so like Dream Architect is, you know, that deity. But I was talking to everybody, and I was like, you know, I don't care about her. I don't care about my family. I don't care about any people. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be successful. Well, you have to be careful what you wish for, because after that, we went to a pizza restaurant. And during that time, we were sitting down, and I was texting my parents what a bad time I was having. And her older sister saw that. And when I went to the bathroom, reported to the family what a bad time I was having. And when I got back to the table, they were like, so you're having a bad time. And I was like, well, you guys don't talk to me. You know, I can't have beer. I'm over 21 years old. You know, it's like a little bit weird. You know, it's like she's an adult, but you treat her like she's 13. You know, like she wouldn't even wear her engagement ring in front of them. Just because she was worried what they think. And they would always said that I would always wind up like in a trailer park. Well, no, it's her new husband that's in the trailer park. And now she's like 300 pounds and has like tattoos all over that look horrible. She was better off with me, just saying. But I got Lacey
So,
now, which is way
moving on.
better.
Moving on.
Moving
right?
forward.
Anyways, well, during this, we get in a huge argument in the restaurant, and everybody becomes silent, and everybody's looking at me and them yelling and screaming. Well, I wasn't really yelling. I had my motorcycle vest on because I was part of the Vindicators Motorcycle Club at the time, so I could see myself in the reflection with my hat and sunglasses. So thought I looked pretty cool. So, and just watching Sons of Anarchy and all that, I just really didn't care. And so it turned out that they decided that I was leaving. And so they drove me back to their house. They didn't even let me in the house. And this is like 3 o'clock, in the afternoon on a Sunday. So I'm like calling all like taxi cabs and bus stations. Now the problem with Fort Huachuca to Phoenix Airport is 6 hours. And there's 3 hours each way from Tucson. So I finally found a bus company that said that they would pick me up. So when I told them the location where we got there, and it was actually the abandoned location of their old station. They don't actually go there anymore. So I'm like begging with the guy to just like, please, help me out. I got all my camera gear, I got my suitcase, whatever. So it's like 5 o'clock at night and it's dark at this point, and like a really bad neighborhood. And like he picks me up, and I told him what happened, and he took me to the ABC store, and he let me get whiskey, and then I like literally like drank whiskey and like Coke the entire way to Phoenix or to Tucson. And then when I got to Phoenix Airport, probably shouldn't say this because not as public, but there's 2 times in life where I've manipulated the airline system, and one of these times was when I was going home, and when I got to the airport, I told them that my grandmother had died and that she was in the hospital, and I needed to get home. And by my demeanor, anyways, it probably looked at it wasn't having a very good time to begin with. They asked me like some questions, and then they put me on an airplane like 3 hours from getting to the airport. So on my arm, I have 2 tattoos. One has 13 feathers, is an Indian that represents Arizona. Okay. And the 13 hours it took to get home back to Virginia from being left on the side of the road. And this is my ex, because she's dead to me. So.
and you said like you moved forward already.
Oh, yeah.
But she's dead for you.
Yeah, no. She, after that, it was one of those things where I was very in love with her, and it was very upsetting to me. But what I did was when I got back, instead of like chasing her, because one thing is with relationships with people, like once it's over, I don't go back. Like there is no like going back, because it's just like, if the relationship was healthy, it would have never ended, right? I understand that relationships fade away, but when it comes to situations like that, I was left on the side of the road. You didn't call, you didn't text for, 3 days, or whatever, until you dropped your stuff out from my house when you got back from Arizona. You didn't once check in. So why would I be the one to go back? I got left on the side of the road. Anything could have happened to me. I could have died. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
your
you didn't care.
Showed up.
Oh yeah, right. All the way our small 1 chapter group from Virginia, all the way going out there. But
So then you did get remarried now? Or?
Yes, to Lacey, my beautiful wife, who I have Logan with, our son together. Mm-hmm. And me and Lacey, that's even a funny story, because Lacey was a model. I was a photographer. She came over for photos and left with Logan on accident. Yeah, and I'll tell you this, the first year of Logan's life, right? We weren't together. We had lawyers. We had pick up and drop off points. For the first year of Logan's life, I got to see him every other weekend for 5 hours at a time. I had to drive down to Richmond. I was living in Northern Virginia with my dad at the time. So 2 hours down to Richmond, spent 5 hours with him, drove 2 hours back. And at the time, what happened was me and Lacey were both seeing other people, but we were both on breaks. It just happened to be like perfect timing, I guess. And we didn't really think anything of it. Well, Lacey called me like 3 weeks later, and she's like, hey, I think I'm pregnant. And I was like, cool. Well, at the time, we had both gotten back with our significant others, right? And I told my girlfriend about this, and it was very difficult at the time to be there and part of Logan's early life because I had her to deal with, and she was very exaggerant and emotional about it. But what happened was she got a DUI and got in a car accident. And I, at the time, have a business and all this stuff going on. So I dumped her and I was like, listen, I can't be with you. I can't be with someone that makes those decisions. I have a lot going for me. I'm working on something. And when I did that, I actually, right before that, we went down to see Lacey and her family, and I brought them a whole bunch of gifts. And I was like, this is a peace offering. I was like, when we go to the new year, we're ditching the lawyers, because all we're doing is wasting money, and we're going to figure this out ourselves. And Lacey agreed to it. And that night, Lacey had fallen asleep. Well, I took the glasses off of her face. My ex-girlfriend saw that. And believe me, I heard about that all the next day. Well, anyways, the DUI happened soon after. Well, when the DUI happened, I went down to talk to Lacey. And I was like, listen, this is what's happened. Lacey had always told me something. She said, you may not want to know what it's like right now. But one day, you're going to want to know what it's like to be a real family, and that's gonna haunt you. Because I wasn't really giving her the time at the, because there was just a lot was going on, you know what I mean? And well, I went down there and I told her everything. I was like, this is what I think we should do. This is how we're gonna do it. And she's like, nope, I don't believe you. She's like, you're gonna use this against me in court. She's like, absolutely not. Because I was telling her that I was like, we could be together as a real family. You could help me run all my companies, and we could really do this. And she's like, no. She's like, you're gonna use this against me somehow in court. So she like totally denied me. So like 2 weeks went by, and I was like persistent with it. Well, I was working in Baltimore at a company called ABW. I was filming their event, and it went to like 2:00 in the morning. And I was talking to her the whole time I was filming through like my Bluetooth, right? And I wound up driving from Baltimore all the way down to her house in Richmond, and then got snowed in with her, and we've been together ever since. And now she is
That's
truly
a good thing for snow, right?
Yeah, now she truly is half owner of all my companies. Yep. It makes every financial decision, runs the finance portion of all my companies, like literally my number one hand man,
Nice.
like, so it really worked out.
So you can see a storm is good for love too.
That's right. That's right. Why not? Make the best of it, right?
So let me ask you, I mean, you have the motorcycle was the passion first.
Yeah.
When you find out that video was your career that you want to take?
So when I was 13 years old, I asked my parents for a camcorder, much like the one that's right there below mine. And
that big one right there?
The smaller one. And they got me one. And see, nobody in my family owns a business. So everything that I do is truly like a learning experience. There is no safety net. There is no like supplemental income. There is what I make. Sorry. I have Lester's Briggs syndrome.
No, I'm just saying, if you were recording this, you're going to be going the whole time.
He's that way. I knew that from the beginning.
No, but that'll help better.
Yeah, so, damn, now I forgot what
he's going to do it again.
No, but there's no safety net.
Yeah, there's no safety net. And in a way, I like that because, one, it makes you hustle harder, but two, it gives you great appreciation.
You're motivated. There's nothing to fall back on. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people are they don't know how to comprehend it. Like, I talk to my dad all the time, and he's like, oh, what you do is so risky and blah, blah, blah. You should be like your sister. And my sister was 6 months pregnant like 3 months ago before she had her baby, and she was fired from the government. So, there you go. There goes your safe job, Right. There goes your, security,
but
your
don't you think
insurance.
there's entrepreneurs and then there's the conservative? I mean, you really have such different personalities in people who are entrepreneurs.
I guess to be a warrior, everybody have to be all kind of people.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a part of, and I believe that what you're saying, we have some of that stuff that you have, because as a real estate, we don't have anything secure. When you finish done with the house or a client, you have to go back and find somebody else. And you don't have any secure, that's a really tough decision. But that's the only way that, in my think about it, is to grow as a human being. I'm moving forward, what I'm looking for, I hate to have a boss.
Yeah. Well, and the difference between being a glorified employee, which is what a lot of people are, and then a boss is too, is also being able to, what I'm learning right now in business, which is like delegation, which is how to replace yourself.
Trust.
So
Yeah.
you can go focus on bigger things, and then the same thing that you were doing is now controlled by somebody else. And that's one thing that I'm really trying to work on too, is, like you said, it's all about growth, but at the same part is, when do you grow enough where you should start stepping away from your business in that sense? Like, still run it, but start to really enjoy like the fruits of your labor, the time off, and allow other people, like Quentin Tarantino said, it is not your job in life to have this big, massive, great idea. Go out into the world, pursue it yourself, and make it happen. Your job is to create this big, wonderful idea. I'm an editor, so I no longer do the editing, so I've removed myself from that portion, because that's honestly the longest portion. It ties me up the most with clients as far as like delivery time and getting things out quick and being able to do things on the fly for them. So now I no longer have to worry about that. Somebody that is honestly a little bit better than I am is now doing that. So now my level of my quality now goes up, because I've hired somebody that's a little bit more talented in that
Amen.
area.
That's awesome.
True.
And that's their job, is to edit only. Their job is not to shoot the video, not to be there on shoot. Their
love
job
it.
is to collect and do it. And then we have another person, which is part-time, Xander, who's my new independent contractor, and he's with me on job shoots, who I actually am training. So when I do all my videos at the house, like with me talking to the camera, Xander's now behind the camera. So instead of it being on a tripod like now, there's a real person now behind it. And now that'll teach him the skill level. And then I can get comfortable enough for he can use my gear and then go do his own shoot. And now I can pay him out, an hourly wage, still make money off the project, but now give the opportunity to someone else. And now they're gaining a skill set and a value that they can use to not only grow within our company, but to grow, like you said, as an individual.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a big thing too, is what you do for a living and then how you run a business is also two different things.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people like me, and I'm sure like you too, learn how to run the business secondhand versus learning how to be like a realtor or being like how to be a videographer. It's easy to, talk shop, but when it comes down to the business side,
We're terrible.
yeah, well, we are.
But I mean, I think that's because that's why we love what we do. That's our skill, is what we want to do. I don't want to be a business person, but you have to be.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to be. I mean, it's like having a doctor run his office. It would go craziness. It would be awful. That's why they all have business managers, So to know both sides of the deal is huge.
Yeah.
To be able to know where you are the best and where
Yeah.
you're weak, and like your guy you found that's a better editor maybe, or something like that.
I
That's
think
awesome.
that's the key part. It's just when to find out that you get away from your ego, that think everything that you do, that's the right way.
The best
and
way.
just listen
No
to,
one can do it but you.
Yeah, so you have to listen to more people. I think that's the hard part. That you find somebody that kind of be in the same path you are, or maybe better, so you can be able to integrate it into your life, into your business. The problem is sometimes we think we do everything, to be better. We have to be there, and that's the problem.
Well, I think too, and I for a long time wish I could go back in time a lot on a lot of different topics, but mostly in business. And like my mentor David, who he says, hire fast and fire faster. And there have been periods in my business where we have really done extremely well. And I feel like, if I could have gone back, I would have started delegation a long time ago. My thought was, you stay small and you keep it all. But the problem is, if you really want to do big things in life, you need other people. It's no
Absolutely.
longer an I thing. And that's part of, the whole ego thing is ego goes, like Robin Williams said, bye-bye, and you start to realize how extremely talented people there are in the world and what it's like to be able to either hire them, collaborate them, work with them, have them in your influence.
And learn from them. I mean, we learn from each other so
Yes.
much every day, So, and if you think that you got it all under the wraps and you don't let anybody else in your soul or in your life, you'll never grow.
But at the same time, we have some issue right now because we are real estate, but we are now marketing. and we are learning that new career alone. So we have a lot of stuff in our head, and it's so many information, a lot of stuff every day. So you are overwhelming. You don't know sometimes what to do, or which one is the best way to take it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you don't know, and that's why business is also a faith-based game, not like religion, but faith, where you truly have to believe in what you're doing. And like Forbes magazine, they did an article where it said, what truly makes successful people, is it like who your dad knows? Is it resources? Is it money? Is it influence? Is it whatever? And what they found out is it's grit.
Mm-hmm.
It's being able to do the same thing over and over again with the same energy, the same type of passion.
We've been having, and that we're trying to build our YouTube channel, even our podcast. And sometimes you got a video, and then you got 1,500 people view and stuff like that. You're so happy. Next day,
0.
75 or 5, and then you say, "My God, what am I doing?" And so, but I guess it's just keep doing it. You're gonna get better, I guess, and maybe on the way you're gonna find somebody that's gonna help you to improve whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
But it's tough.
Tell everybody what it is. I don't even think we got there.
Yeah,
Tell them about
No, we talk about his love life.
love life or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Your business, and then where do you kind of see yourself ended up maybe in 2 years?
Oh, okay. So the businesses that we own are GoodLuckStef Productions, Madman Plant, Fresh Slaps are like the main 3, and then we have
What's Fresh Slaps?
So that's our sticker sublimation T-shirt company,
Okay.
and then we have No Clone Left Behind, which is our nonprofit. So with GoodLuckStef Productions, we're a multimedia production company. Like I said, a lot of what we do is either on cable TV, ad space in like theaters and other platforms, or like social media and the YouTube channels, podcasts, whatever the clients want. Madman Plant is our actual cannabis company. Now, we don't sell cannabis, but what we do is 3D printed garden tools and smoking accessories. Mm-hmm. We're sponsored by a bunch of different companies for growing, internationally and nationally. We also tour for that with our own podcast. We have about 75 episodes where we range from everything from business to addiction. We've talked about incest and rape on our podcast. We've talked about, gaining your life back. All
What's
these
the name
different.
of the podcast?
Smoke Busters.
Smoke Busters.
Yeah, because we're breaking down the stigmas of cannabis and truly showing off the real people, the real value. Kind of like what you guys said. Real people that are a part of the community. And what we do is mostly business to business. So we're tied in on the marketing side. So when we do Smoke Busters, we're acting as Madman Plant, but GoodLuckStef as well, because GoodLuckStef creates, Madman Plant.
Right.
And what we do is when we go to these conventions, we're talking with different brands who sell to home growers, not only, landing sponsorship deals with them, but also getting them to hire GoodLuckStef Productions like Canatrol did this year, and Easy Trim Harvesting, 2 cannabis brands. One's a dry and cure machine for weed, so you put it in there and you leave it alone, and it's like a wine cooler. It's like perfect. So, just like a wine cooler keeps your wine perfect. Imagine that for your bud. We were in Vermont 3 times this year working with them, going to places like New Hampshire and Massachusetts and different parts of Vermont, getting testimonials from big grow ops that use their technology. And these are big units. Some of these units can hold up to 1,600 pounds of cannabis at one time. And what's cool is when you harvest, that period is so delicate. You can ruin your entire harvest if you don't have the right conditions. Well, this allows you to put it in there and in 4 days being able to interact with it. So like if you're in a place like Massachusetts where it's very dry, they have like 2 days to take down maybe, 400 to 1,500 plants at one time, right? Imagine trying to do that in 2 days, and now they have the luxury of putting it in the system and now being able to process it as they need it.
Very cool.
So with that, we're in 11 different countries with consumers. Our first year in business, we did $24,000 worth of sales in my basement alone, just on 3D printing. And then Fresh Slaps is our sticker t-shirt sublimation company, where we help clients like you guys and ourselves create marketing materials or stuff on the fly. And then we also do like low quantity numbers. And then No Clone Left Behind is our nonprofit where we teach
No,
people.
what left behind?
No clone.
Clone. Okay.
Yeah, it's where we teach people about the cloning process or propagation, and about plant life being spiritual, spiritual. Oh, I can't even think of my own lines.
A spirit.
Oh, spiritual is one. Damn. Oh, I'll have to play the little video for it. But pretty much what we do is during COVID, they found out how much gardening spiked because people were alone by themselves. They didn't have anything.
It's called plant therapy.
Yeah, therapy, is a good one as well. And I deal with plant therapy a lot. But we do is we teach people how to clone because, like, unlike seeds where like fingerprints, so ours are all different, a clone is exact representation. So if you have a really good plant, you're going to get the exact really good plant from that. And it also cuts out almost 3 weeks of growth time for a plant.
Mm-hmm.
You can, in what we call a perpetual cycle, you can go straight to flowers. So you can be harvesting back to back to back versus having to harvest maybe once or twice a year. So if you have a small indoor garden in your kitchen and you like tomatoes or onions, it doesn't just have to be cannabis, but we specialize in peppers for the nonprofit because we're a 501c3, federal regulations. But what we do is we go in and we teach classes. We provide the dirt, the materials, the plants. It's about a 1.5 hour class, and it's hands-on. Everybody gets to clone their own plant, and everybody gets to learn about the process, a little bit about gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's one of those things where it's muscle memory. So once people do it themselves for the first time, they're able to do it for the rest of their lives. And it's kind of like that thing where you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a day. If you show a man how to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So the idea is, sorry to cut you off, but the idea is when I get my pilot's license, I'm going to get a plane, and we're going to go to remote parts of the United States, and we're going to drop off like seeds and clone plants to people that don't have a lot of vegetation,
Mm-hmm.
and then that'll also be part of it.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Your
That's
mind
pretty
doesn't stop, does it?
Not until I reach billionaire status. And then now it's like Jeff Bezos level.
Oh my God.
So let me go
Catching
back
up
to
with
the
Jeff.
podcast. So you, like, if somebody has they hire you, so you bring the camera, the lights, and everything to their location, and
Yeah, so we're a full production company. So we do everything from ad commercials that you see on like Fox 5, HGTV, MTV, BET, from like major networks, even the Washington Post, all the way down to like social media to ad spaces. So whether you guys wanted a commercial for your brokerage, whether you wanted your own
Commercial for
YouTube
us.
channel, whether
Commercial
you
for us.
wanted your own very own traditional podcast, whatever it may be that you want, our company would provide. So we have all the lighting, all the camera, all the audio equipment that you could think of. So, we've
And
done.
then you guarantee how many buyers or sellers out of that?
That's like me going to Vegas next week when I go and saying, this coin, I'm going to get X amount of dollars.
No, it's easy.
But here's what I tell people. And this is what we're trying to teach people in this space anyways, because people always ask that, and you kind of mentioned it earlier. It's not about how many videos you're doing that gets you it. It's not even the quality.
Mhm.
It's the community. If you're engaged enough to your community, they will watch whatever it's on, whatever quality format it is, whether it's just audio, whether it's just a picture, whether it's just text, whatever.
Did you notice on your videos which one was the most, has 1,000 views?
yeah, I got it.
Do you know which one it is?
Yeah,
Which one is it?
it's more like the one that who I am.
No.
The one that I'm
It's one
talking.
with us.
Oh, you're talking about.
When we were interviewing each other,
Oh, yeah,
and you
yeah,
were
yeah.
telling me about your family, and I told you, I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah,
that's
we
the
got-
only
yeah, yeah,
one that
yeah.
has like a lot.
I got another one that was because I was talking about that I'm a seasonal drinker and stuff like that. So that was really got a lot of people. So I was kind of worried about that. It's like, man, what am I gonna do? But I guess because now we're trying to educate people. We have to trying to teach people about the market, about the business and stuff like that. How can they help? We can help them.
Well, I think for us too, though, it's just people, And like we were saying in that video, that we're just so different.
Mhm.
You know, it's like if somebody doesn't identify with him, they identify with me, or vice versa, or they fire me and they keep him, which did happen. But I mean, I just really feel like that is where, you know, that's the juice. It's just that we're so different, but yet we really communicate well to the public, and we have fun with it. That's what he tries to be so serious sometimes. I'm like, don't be so serious.
No, I
be
try.
you.
Well, you know, yes, but I think it's a way that you can be able to find your path. Where it's
Right.
you know, and even that people ask me and they ask you to, man, how can you do that? How can I cannot do that? And I say you can do it if you want to. It's just up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Everybody have an itch. Well, she want to be talking.
She wants to have her 2 bits too.
We have Honey here.
Yeah, so
So-
I
Tell
guess.
Honey's story.
Okay, so Honey's story involves around my story, which is in 2020. Me, Lacey, Logan, and Lacey's mom were all in a very, very bad car accident where we almost all died. And I'll show you some pictures real quick. Because I think you've seen them, but I don't think Fabio has seen them. And what happened was an 18-wheeler clipped another vehicle. Well, it wound up pushing that vehicle forward. Well, that vehicle was also spinning at 70 miles an hour. Well, when that caught, it shot across 3 lanes of highways, and I hit it driver's side head on at 70 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily, and by the grace of God, and that's why, being a
Holy
Mason.
moly.
and
This is
close
like
to
this
God.
good luck thing still hanging tight.
Oh, which I forgot to tell you this. I have to tell them
The
the slogan.
story.
The slogan to that. But yeah. So
Wow.
in that accident, right after, I think you deal with a lot of like survivor's guilt, and kind of sometimes you kind of wonder why like still here, because see the other guy I hit had $250,000 worth of medical bills.
Wow.
So he's probably a millionaire by it now because we got our payout. But it's one of those things where you just don't realize how much time you have. And it was one of those things too where you always think that you do have time. And I just remember the car coming in the way, and then all of a sudden the airbag came out, and then it all goes black. And when you spin like that, there is no sense of rotation. So that's why, like they say in airplanes, and even when your vehicle is submerged, you
And
need
when
to
you're
follow the
underwater,
bubbles, because you lose sense of like rotation and what is really up. And when we hit, I've been in a bunch of accidents before, and when you're in an accident, usually there's multiple impacts. So there's like the impact of hitting, the car moving, and then the car coming to the rest. So like 3 main impacts. And this just felt like we were pile driving the ground. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why haven't we stopped? Why haven't we stopped? And when I came to, I was looking around and I looked down and I was like, that's the windshield. My feet are on the windshield. We're upside down. So I'm like scrambling to, get everybody out. And the Hyundai Santa Fe has a tip over sensor, which I think most cars do now, where it disengaged the starter. Because I was trying to turn the car off to prevent a fire, but because we were upside down, I was actually starting the car.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the car wouldn't turn on, thank God.
Right.
Well, thankfully, me, Lacey, Logan's mom, not Logan's mom, Lacey's mom, had no real bruises, no real injuries.
That's crazy.
I mean, walked away from it just like scrapes, cuts, muscle pains, stuff like that. Well, when we were in the car, Lacey's mom is a very big woman, and she decided, well, since we're not going to go nowhere, I'm just going to take off my seatbelt. Well, I'm in the bottom part of the ditch. Well, she falls on me, and I always joke because now I'm getting scared. It's not the car crash that's going to kill me. It's the fire and me not being able to climb out because she's on top of me, and I can't get out of here.
Oh my
So I'm like
gosh.
screaming at like the people that like try to pull her off me, and they're like trying to pull her out. When you look
So
back
this is
now,
why you have her though.
Yeah,
Just
so-
bringing you.
well, what happened was,
Peace.
so Honey's my service dog. She travels everywhere I've gone. In December, she'll have been on 8 airplanes this year, or 9 airplanes in 8 different states this year, plus more airplanes in states next year. When after this, I got put on a lot of like depression and like anxiety meds, and I told the doctor I don't want to be on this for the rest of my life. Like this is not who I am. Like I've never, I'm not a pill person. Like I never had to take pills other than vitamins or supplements and all that, right? So they recommended that I get a service dog if that would be the case to help me because I've been going through it pretty bad lately. Anyways, we went to the shelter and we told them that we were looking for a service dog. And they advised me that the dog I was looking at would not be good because it was too hyper. But we were in the front lobby. We didn't even look at the rest of the dogs. And they were like, but we have the perfect dog here that would be perfect for service work. And they brought out Honey. And me and Honey sat in like a little room together. And pretty much told the universe and her that I chose her and she was going to choose me. And we've been together ever since. And it's been 8 months now. And she, like I said,
It's only been 8 months?
Yeah, since April.
Oh my gosh.
That was a love for the first sight.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah, she had been returned.
She's beautiful.
She had been returned twice. Uh-oh.
Oh, she knows that I say she's beautiful. You are beautiful.
She's like, well, she ain't calling him beautiful.
Awesome.
See, yeah, she gets spoiled. She hears one word and she's like, all right, he's into me.
I love it. Well, we appreciate you. And gosh, I know this. I feel like, no, you know what? You didn't tell your story real quick of your name.
Okay, so when I was 18 years old, bought my first motorcycle, moved out. My dad, as I was walking out of the house one of the last times before I moved to my own place, he's always been very skeptical of my ideas. Said, I don't know what's going to happen to you in life, but good luck, Steph. And I turned around and I pointed at him very sarcastically and said, I'm going to use that one day. And then when I started my company, I was like, what am I going to call it? And then my dad's voice popped into my head. Good luck, Steph.
I love it.
That's cool.
I love
That's very cool. That's very cool.
So, yeah.
So what he said now?
Oh, he's still, he loves what I've done. He tells me all the time it's something that he could never do, and he's amazed that I've made it work. He's always fearful because, like you guys,
He doesn't want you to move back home.
Well, I don't want to move back home.
I'm just teasing.
I got too much stuff, too many animals. But no, he's proud. I think one of the things too, as a parent though, you'll always be worried. Even if your kids are millionaires. So it's gonna.
They're still your kids.
It's going to happen to you too with your kid.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm trying to tell Logan now at 8 years old. I'm like, you're in a very unique period of your part where one, you're a kid, so everybody loves you. People want you to succeed. People are willing to go out of their way and help you. Yep. You're going to get to an age where nobody cares. And then the people that you do thought they cared want you to fail. So, use people while they're young. I'll tell them all the time, like, we could be planning for your house to buy at 21 right now. Like, while all your friends are worried about their first apartment, you already bought your house. You can stay at home, rent that house out, and do that. But it's all about planning. And that's something that I wish I could go back and do early is kind of have the mindset I have now, which is the true foundation. I went to a Money 101 class last night at this Italian restaurant.
I was going to go there, but...
that's Judy. Yeah, we love
that's
the best. Yeah. That Money 101 class is an amazing class.
It is really good.
And guess the average person's age in America who thinks about a savings account. When do people start thinking about savings in America?
27, 28?
40.
50.
50?
Yeah.
Is the average thing people are like, you know what? I think I should start a savings just when I retire. Yeah, and the problem is most people spend, I think, the last 10 years of their life, like retirement, like battling, almost being broke again. Yeah. And that's what this all boils down to is the fact that it can go either way, and that you really need to take everything day by day. Try to build relationships. Try to be as grateful as possible, and realize that you need other people, even if they're not doing direct business with you. You need relationships. Mm-hmm. You need collaboration. You need to be open. You need to be vulnerable because I think a lot of times we're so scared of somebody else getting the job, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're just taking our shine. But the real value is, you know, we are who we are, and people like who they like.
That's
Yep,
true.
that's like in our world. Everybody's so afraid to share because they don't want to lose business. But I just really feel like the more we collaborate, the more we share, it makes us all better as a professional. We all learn from each other then, that's
true.
for sure. So
That's true.
Well, I gotta get you guys on my podcast,
Alright.
so we're gonna do this again, and
Oh.
we're gonna get you guys always flavored.
God.
And sit down for the wings.
yeah,
on,
they
Good Luck
do
Stef.
they do wings at their
Wings?
podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the Good Luck Stef podcast. I have 2 podcasts.
Oh, I love wings.
They try to like melt your lips
No,
off.
So you be eating and talking? That's cool.
Yes.
You guys, we just want to thank you again for staying tuned and letting
Good
Stefan
luck, Stefan.
talk and share his world with us. And again, please subscribe and ring the bell and let us know if you have any questions, or if you want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, by
We'd
any
love to
chance,
have
yeah.
you comment and reach out, and we will get you on our podcast.
Goodbye, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Oh, you know what? Tell us how we can get in contact with you.
Okay, you can go to GoodLuckStef.com. Our brand new website releases either next week or the week after, so it's all new. You can also go to Good Luck Stef on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, and all the other places you can think of.
And we're going to have it all there for you all
Yeah.
also. So once he gives us the information, we're going to put it up so y'all can see and have all his contact information there. Thank you.
Goodbye, guys.
Good job. Now you have the video. We don't have anything.
I know.
It's good though. Thank God. That's funny.
I know.